Hey, this is Al from Transformational Gaming. Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you coming to the channel. I know it's been a long time, about a year and a half since I've made one of these videos. But nevertheless, we do have content up on the channel, and I appreciate you guys supporting that. And today we're going to be talking about Valve's Steam Box machine, or their Steam machine. I'm not sure if they really got a name for it, but when I looked on the title, they said Steam machine. So, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense not to call it a box. So I'm going to add in Steam Box machine. But anyway, before we get into all of that, I want to encourage you guys to please continue to subscribe and support the channel. So what is this magical box that Valve has come out with? No doubt if you are listening to this video, you probably already heard some Digital Foundry or some IGN or some GameSpot or some Moore's Law, or on and on and on and on. So more than likely, if you're listening to this, you've heard those commentaries about Steam Deck first before you've came here. I don't have any breaking news for the Steam Box machine. I just want to give my opinion on it. And before I do that, I want to kind of start from the beginning. For the most part, in 2017, when I made this channel, Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 had been out for a couple of years, and the PlayStation Pro and the Xbox One X was on the horizon. This was around 2017 when I started coming out with this channel. And one of the things was that when I started this channel, I felt like there was a lot of mis and disinformation out there about what the Xbox One X could do versus the PS4 Pro. And a lot of those videos are still up. Some of them I've taken down just so that the better quality videos will be seen initially versus the videos that are not high quality. Anyway, fast forward it to now. Xbox and Microsoft has essentially disbanded the console race. It's looked like the new and the next Xbox that comes out is going to be basically a laptop type of device with some PC-like features. But I think for the most part that the new Xbox is basically going to be a Surface. All right, that's just my depiction of it. And so for the most part, not to say that Xbox is not coming out with a new console or a PC or whatever, but I just think that it's going to be more of a device than a console. And I know that's kind of like a oxymoron or whatever, but honestly, I think it's going to be more of a device that can do multiple things versus a game-centric console. With that being said, I think that I was honestly had the perspective of some of the journalists in the industry. I was sorely disappointed when Microsoft essentially jumped ship on the console business, because it's not about Xbox being this punching bag or whatever for Sony, essentially teaming up with Sony, but for the business of gaming, I just don't think that having only one player in the market is not the answer. Xbox putting Xbox games, putting Halo on PlayStation is something that, to me, it's like hitting the self-destruct button when you're cornered and you about to get beat up real bad, and you got a detonation bomb on your chest, and you saying, I'm not going down, I'm not getting beat down, I'm going to explode. and basically you hit the self-destruct button and you kill everybody in the building, including yourself. I mean, a kamikaze. That's what, to me, that's what Xbox has done. And this is why having a bad console holder inside of any market is very disruptive to said market. Because when you got somebody who's willing to do that, that's basically breaking the whole market and starting basically a collusion or oligopoly or cartel, whatever you want to call it. But turning a market into an oligopoly or a cartel, I just don't think is the answer. And I think that's what Microsoft has done. And fast forward to now, I'm grateful to see something like this to come out. Now, I will say that this is designed and built and fashioned to fail. Why isn't it going to succeed? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, the specs on it is not good. And I was listening to Moore's Law, and if he think that this is 28 gigabytes of data, then I don't know what to tell him. This is essentially an 8 gigabyte console because data is not aggregated with GRAM. It is shared with GRAM. And when you got more system memory than you do GRAM, I just think that's just a unbalanced PC, unbalanced hardware. But for the most part, I just don't see the use of the 8 extra gigabytes of data in system memory. I'm not saying that it's not useful at all, but as far as, moving graphics around, I mean, you're going to be basically running that straight to the graphics processor, and there's not a lot of graphics you can move around in system memory. I'm not going to poo-poo the fact that, Valve has entered the console race, but I still have questions like I did on the Steam Deck. I don't know if you guys have seen my Steam Deck commentary, but I just don't think that this is going to sell a lot. And I was right on the Steam Deck. Like, I think lifetime sales of Steam Deck has only sold like 5 million units. And so, like, I think the Switch just came out, this spring, and it's already at 30 million. So, in that aspect, the Steam Deck is a failure. But hey, if you were able to make your profits work and, eliminate your expenses, then congratulations. As long as you're able to make some money, you're able to stay in business. With that being said, I think that the Steam Box machine is going to probably have the same fate. Probably over its lifetime, over a few years, it's probably going to sell 5 million units. And to me, it's going to be a niche type of operation, type of device. But I do think that it's going to be much more convenient than the Xbox, because I just don't think people want to pay subscription services to play video games. But again, that's what Microsoft is going with. There may be some people who may think that having a subscription service is better and may want and like the Xbox implementation of service. But to me, Steam is probably the best service out of everybody, because you don't have to have a service. The service comes for free. Only thing you have to do is purchase the games, and then the games go on your account list, and it follows you wherever you go. And I think that's the way gamers want to interface with an operating system like Steam. And so I do think in that respect, the Steam Deck, along with this device and along with their PC holdings and their PC software, I do think that, hey, they're going to be able to deliver on what is promised. But I just don't think this is going to be for everybody, because let's just look at this logically, okay? You got the PlayStation 6 coming out. The PS5 Pro is already out. And the games are going to be curtailed for the PlayStation. I mean, let's just be honest, man. These game companies need to make money, and making a game specifically for the Xbox or the Steam Deck is not going to net you a lot of money. But if you make it specifically for the PlayStation and augment the game's capability from the PlayStation on upward, then I think you're going to be able to have a great business plan of selling your game. And so that's what it's all about. It's all about making that money. You got to make that money, man. And, I just don't see the Steam box machine being something that anybody will want. And so I think this is going to be a very expensive machine. From what I see, I guess the BOM or whatever, the bill of materials, is probably worth around $400. I think that Valve is going to take $100 profit and move on. So that's what, to me, this is all about. I think they're just trying to get into the hearts, mind, and consciousness of video gamers. This is for hardcore video gamers, but I do think this is going to be more successful than the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck lifetime sales is around 5 million units. I think this has the potential of doubling that, but I don't think it's going to be a success in a sense where they're going to be competing with Sony or even Microsoft, for that matter. By the time this come out in 2026, the PlayStation 6 is going to be on the horizon, and they're probably going to announce it and then release it the following year. And that's going to be that. Anyway, comment, like, subscribe. This is Al from Transformational Gaming, and we out.